Here, good morning, everyone on TikTok, and setting up the live. I think we're live already. It's just not coming out on here. Here, yep. So we are live on YouTube, and now I'm going to take the YouTube stream and I'm going to share it up on Facebook. Live on YouTube. Okay, now we're live on YouTube. This is the first time I'm sharing live on YouTube on Facebook while it's still going on. So that's new. All right. So what are we doing here? We're gonna play a little something, I guess. Anyway, I'll stop playing. That was the that's from Final Countdown solo, but I'm not really all warmed up right now. But here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start letting people in into the live chat. Okay, so if you would like to join the live chat, you actually have to be part of the Trust membership. Anyone who's part of my Trust membership can join in on these live chats. But of course, you can always ask your questions on TikTok or on YouTube, wherever you're at. But to be part of the live, like to be in it, you have to be part of the Trust community. And the reason why is because when I would share these links in the past, okay, what ended up happening was you'd get the scammer comes on and starts to do nasty stuff. And so I can't allow that to continue. So we have to deal with the fact that we live in a very unethical society with people who have, no boundaries and morals, unfortunately. But that also includes the people, the supposed authorities. They call themselves the authority, but we all know that they're not. Okay, because no man has an authority over any other man. Okay, it's just how it is. That's the truth out there. Anyway, how you guys doing this morning?
Morning, Joe.
How you doing today?
Hey, good man. How are you?
Good.
Getting my breakfast, kind of late morning start.
It's funny. I eat once a day, right? And if I eat that one time a day that I eat, it fluctuates what time of day it's going to be at, just depending on when I'm hungry.
Yeah,
But it's that one meal. That's it. One meal a day.
that's cool. So what's happening?
Oh, I don't know. I'll be honest, I've been writing some stories. I've had these stories in my head for a while and I decided to put them down on paper and I put some of them out on Amazon. They're on Kindle right now, but they're not there's no paperback versions yet. Okay. So the paperback versions need to be approved. They're not approved yet. But it's all fiction stories, just something for fun, right? Yeah, there we go. Authorities are servants, right? Authorities are servants. That's what they are. Those are servants. They work for us, okay?
They don't believe that though, I don't think.
Well, people who have egotistical problems are gonna tell you otherwise. These are people who suffer from, low self-esteem and lack of control in their own life, right? So these are the people
Yeah.
that put themselves into this authority position. Excuse me. Sorry. Authority. Right? That's how we should be saying it, right? Authority. Don't tell the cops that though. All right? Don't tell the cops that. They'll show you how much authority they have. They're granted all of these. They're granted special privileges over the people in order to give the appearance that they have an authority over the people. It's an appearance. Okay, I want people to keep that in mind. That their authority is just an apparency. Appearances are not real. Okay, like the magician who makes you think that the water disappeared from the cup. Right? You're like, whoa, whoa, right? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because they're sovereign citizens. That's exactly what they are. Call it as it is, right? But a sovereign citizen is someone who doesn't think that the laws apply to them, right? Well, that fits the bill of the police, doesn't it? It fits the bill of the judges. It fits the bill of the lawyers. So when you go into court and you're like, yeah, I want to stand on my rights, and they go, oh, you sovereign citizen, you. Like, who's really the enemy in that moment? Is it you because the Constitution recognizes and protects your rights? Or is it them, right, who feel like you using the document that was there to protect you from them is now getting in the way? Okay, and that you are a danger to society because you want to use the document that the founding fathers put together for the specific reason of keeping them at bay with your rights, So, anyway, that's that. But let's talk some real stuff. What are we talking about today? Okay. Yeah, that's right. They made up. Well, the term is being used to belittle litigants who operate pro se or pro per or whatever. Litigants who come in with whatever information that they have from their own study and try to utilize it to win court cases that would be really deemed unjust in the first place. Traffic court is unjust in many, many ways. I don't think people realize how unjust it actually is. And one of them is the fact that you do not get due process in traffic court. These quasi-criminal courts steamroll your rights. They just go right over. What they do, quasi-criminal is actually supposed to be civil, but they treat it as criminal. And if they treat a civil case as civil, well, the state can't see their own case. So they call it quasi-criminal to bypass this civil issue, because court cases are civil. I've been to court where the judge would say, if you're here for a parking ticket, those are all civil and you have no defense, you automatically lose, right? Like she basically said, you just pay. She's like, parking tickets are considered civil and you just pay at the door. That's it. You're not here to argue parking tickets. And I'm like, that's wrong, right? That means like the cops have a free range to just ticket everybody who's parked on the street, whether or not they violated any, town rules or ordinances regarding parking. So these guys could and they've done that. They've done that to me. I'm sure everyone here has gotten some kind of bogus parking ticket. Yeah, I know, totally crazy. I'm sitting there and I'm like, this is why they don't want you recording in these courts either. It's like, oh, you can't record in here. You can't turn your phones off. Turn everything off. No recording in here. You're not allowed to do that. And the reason is because then they go and stomp on all your rights. And if someone had a record of that, what's going to happen? The thing that's going to happen is that you can appeal that to the federal courts, and the federal courts are going to rule against these guys. Like, no, you can't do that. You can't, like, you saying that stuff doesn't make it true. That's inherently incorrect. But the judge made it very clear that that everything that they considered civil was an automatic lose. You had no due process. You had to pay your ticket. Right? Now, the tickets are like $25 to $50, but still, it's just revenue generation. That's all it is. Okay? It's just generating revenue. And that's not what the people are here for. The people are not here to make, for the government to make money. Get a cart machine that translates and takes records live. I still try to record in there anyway. You bring in two phones. There's all kinds of things. Get the little camera thing right here that clips to the phone. Put it on or to the glasses. Put it on both sides so it just looks uniform. They don't realize that it's cameras there, right? They want you to take your hat off. They get mad at me for not taking my hat off. Oh, you gotta take your hat off. Why? We're inside. I said, well, what's the law that says I have to remove my hat? That's just common decency, sir. Take it off or you're going to get arrested. Oh, well, under threat of duress and threat of being arrested, right, I will take my hat off, you fucking pieces of shit. That's how I feel about it. Can't take phones past security in Edmond County, Kentucky. You can't even get the phones in there. So that's why you have two phones, right? You have your phone, the one I'm on right here. Okay, that's my actual cell phone. And then you got a second one, right? Which, is your decoy. You go, oh yeah, my phone. Okay, here's my phone, right? And you give them to that. Well, you put in a Faraday bag or something, or yeah, you can. There's ways around that, but yeah, a Faraday bag usually could block some of that stuff. Can you answer my question, please? Ask your question. I didn't see it the first time. You have to realize TikTok blocks things, okay? I can't stand when that happens. Like people get upset. You didn't answer my question. I didn't even saw it. You have to come to that realization, people. I didn't see your question. All right? Just be patient. Remember, TikTok blocks comments. Okay? You might comment something and it looks like it's scrolling up, but no one sees it. And then you just get a thing. I'll get like people will see an alert that says TikTok will block certain comments sometimes because of blah 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 whatever reasons. Can you build a house without? Of course you can. You can build whatever the fuck you want. If the town comes over and says, "Oh, you didn't get a permit to build that house," you go, "Eat me. Fuck you. Bill me. I don't give a shit." What you know? Oh yeah, don't put it in all caps. Like what's the town gonna do? Tear your house down? You could sue them for that, Yeah, permits require consent. So if you build the house, right, without any permits, and the state comes along and says you have to give them money, it's actually usually just this town that does it, right? I would just sue them. I would just say, look, I built the house. I don't need permits. I'm not doing any of that stuff. Screw you guys, right? You just want the permits do nothing for anybody. Okay. Like I remember my neighbor got some work done on his house and he had all these permits and stuff to do it. Those permits didn't make me feel better. It didn't make my life any different. They keep saying that it does. Oh, they won't give you electricity. Fuck them. So just get solar panels. I mean, if you're building a damn house, might as well get the solar panels put in anyway. It's only going to be like, what, another $50,000. Right? So get the solar panels and live off the grid. Who needs these people? The other thing is that you can sue them as well because there are certain provisions that the state is required to that make sure that you have certain amenities. Okay, and if you're not getting those amenities and they're blocking that, they could actually potentially kill you. Okay, they could kill you and your family by doing stuff like that. So they can't, they could, it's bullshit. So, but that's, you got to think about what battle you want to fight there, right? What battle are you trying to fight? Permits are for commercial construction. Well, probably most of it's going to be commercial construction anyway. But that doesn't give the city the authority to make money off of the transaction, right? Magnet motor generator. I've seen those. Those are really cool. So yeah, but it doesn't do anything. I remember another guy. So so my father-in-law's house. When I first started dating my wife, we started dating. Her dad came to me. He goes, "Hey, do you know how to fix like electrical stuff?" I go, "Yeah." I rewired the house. I redid their furnace, the air conditioning. I fixed a whole bunch of stuff. I put a gas stove in their house. They had an electric stove and it was causing all kinds of problems. So I put in a gas stove, ran the gas pipe, 0 permits. Nobody was harmed. right? The neighbors next door weren't limping around because there was no permits. So, oh, it caused, because that's the claim. Like, oh, you're going to damage and hurt the people of the town without the proper permits. I'm sure your piece of paper is going to save lives. No, it's not. It doesn't do anything. It's just a money generator. That's all they're doing. So, the permit stuff, don't, you got me started on it. Yeah, amazing how you have to be a master to do houses, yet huge bids. Just, I don't, I didn't quite get what you said there. Is there any recourse within the 3 days of getting a ticket? Have you rescinded the ticket successfully? To be successful, no contract in Tejas for a matter. My wife probably meant Texas. Just got it 2 days ago. Well, you, I can't make any promises, but if you do the rescission on the ticket within the 3 days, then it should work. So if you're sitting around on it after 2 days, you better send that thing registered mail to them. Okay. Um, and send it registered mail, right? So what you're gonna do, you put it in a box, you say, or you put it in a package, right? Go get like one of those little. I don't have one here. Huh? I don't have one here. Well, that's weird. I got some. I got some used ones here. So you get like one of these things, right? An envelope. You stick your tickets in there. You put a registered mail sticker on it. Bink. Right, take one of the registered mail stickers, stick it on there. Then what you're going to do is you're going to write refused without dishonor, right? UCC 1 UCC 3-501, UCC 2-207. Okay, and then you just send it back registered mail to them, and that's refusal for cause without dishonor. Refusal for cause without dishonor. And then you send that back to them like that. That should handle the tickets. But keep your eye on it, okay? Because they tend to, even though they tend to honor that, sometimes they don't. If you wait too long, they're not going to honor it. So it says a reasonable time. That's how that works. Okay, refusal for cause without dishonor. That's what you're going to write on there. All right. Fellow Americans, hey, how did I stop paying property taxes? I use state exemptions. If you read your state constitution, um, they tell you how to get around the property taxes, right? Then they even tell you, if you read the state codes or the state statute, it also tells you. So, I mean, I did a couple of things, but one thing is just putting the house into a private foundation, right? I set up a foundation, put the house into it, and then that's it. It was exempt after that. So it's really simple. You just have to do an application. The state gives you applications to apply for the exemptions. So I got full on exemption. So
How about, hey Joe, how about endorsing the property tax bill? Like the without recourse, pay the order of bearer.
we've done that and we've had some successes with that, but it's been back and forth depending on who you're dealing with. But it's not a bad idea. It's just that um not every county will honor that property tax payment like that.
Gotcha. I'm gonna try it this month.
I knew a guy, he did it and it worked for like 2 years, 2 or 3 years. They didn't bother him about it once. When he moved, when he moved out of the house, like he sold the house, got a new house, the new owner was hit with that property tax bill of all the property taxes that was owed for the last like 3 years. And they were like came to him saying, "What the hell is this?" And he goes, "I fucking paid it the whole damn time." So, he ended up just giving them the money, but he shouldn't have. I don't, I mean, whatever. It's your fight. You do what you want. I wouldn't have done that. I would have stood on the fact that they accepted the payments the whole time and never gave him a hassle, but they never once hassled him about it until after he moved. I think they were trying to look for a way to get it from the new homeowner or try to screw him that way. So, I don't know. She went out of town. Okay. What's this? Ad valorem. Yeah. How about the allodial title? So the allodial title, I haven't seen people with allodial titles have tremendous success with the state not encroaching on them afterwards. Like a couple of people have had some problems. The states try not to recognize it because, well, they don't. They don't like that. So I say you can go get your low deal title, but my honest opinion is just use the state's exemptions, use a foundation or something like that, right? And just try that stuff first because that's the path of least resistance. Okay, use the state's exemptions to exempt you from property taxes, and then after that, then you can do a land patent and a low deal title, and no one's gonna care because your property's already exempt, so no one's gonna give you a hard time about it, right? That's the difference. Okay, between trying to do the low deal title way and then trying to use the state's recognized exemptions, right? They're very anal about these things. So, and I don't know why, it's probably because of the fact that once it goes a low deal, right? So there's the law of perpetuity, right? Or the rule of perpetuity. Perpetuity means like something can't be gone forever. Like real estate has to be it can be out of the commercial realm or the real estate realm for so many years before it has to be put back in because they need to keep it going, right? So you have to be able to sell the land at some point. So I think the low deal titles is something that kind of bumps up, it kind of conflicts with the rule of perpetuity. Not that the rule of perpetuity is any good. To me, I think that rule is a bunch of BS, but a lot of the states operate off of that. And that's why people are having issues with the low deal titles, in my opinion. The IRS is threatening a lock-in letter to my employer who doesn't accept the WABN. I'd have to look at what they're saying or what's happened in the past because if you did a revocation of election, they shouldn't be bothering you or your employer anymore. But you can do the W-4V maybe. But I'd have to take a closer look at your paperwork to find out what the heck's going on. Because if your revocation election's wrong, then they're not going to honor anything. You'd have to fix that first. The two codes, UCC 3-501, UCC 2-207. Those are the two codes. Yeah, hold them harmless. Yeah. But yeah, you could do a hold harmless agreement with your employer and then maybe have them switch you over to a 1099 and have them pay you through a 1099 NEC rather than a W-4 or something. All right. That might be a solution, right? Is just say, hey, we just do this on 1099? I'll sort it out with the IRS some other way. And they may go, fine, we could do it that way depending on who you work for. If you work for like Walmart, they're not going to do that. But some companies will let that fly. All right. But yeah. Oh my. Their healthcare is through the employer. Yeah, see, now it becomes a little more tricky because, see, like you're asking me a question to get an answer, but, there's all these intricacies between who you work for, what your position is with the place, how long you've been there, when did you do the revocation of election, what kind of ROE did you do, who you submitted it to, right? The agent that's doing the lock-in letter, there's a lot of other things, there's a whole bunch of variables to those kinds of situations. And to give like a broad general answer is it can be tough sometimes because of things like that. Now you're like saying that you have health care with your employer. That could cause a whole other bunch of stipulations because your health care might be something else that ties you into the system as a U.S. citizen, right? And if your health care is attached to your employer, and your healthcare provider, right, or your healthcare insurance has you on record as a U.S. citizen, that could leak into your employment, the IRS, and it's a minimum contact with the IRS, meaning they can tax you still. So it's a whole weird thing. It's hard to say, but yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. So it's hard to say because there's a lot of variables there, especially when you start getting in healthcare. That could be a thing that they're utilizing. Oh, you are a U.S. citizen. The healthcare says so. You're a U.S. citizen and a resident. We got jurisdiction over you. So, maybe hit me up privately. We can have a one-on-one and sort out, your situation better. So that way we can get a proper handling for you. All right. They're always looking to make a, yeah, I know. They just like, they want everyone to be U.S. citizens. Oh, everyone's a U.S. citizen. Oh, you're a U.S. citizen. I remember I went to the bank one day to get some notary stuff done, and the girl looks at this and she goes, "You're a U.S. citizen." I said, "What? How do you know if I'm a U.S. citizen?" She's like, where were you born?" I go, "Oh, now you want to know where I was born in order for," I was like, "So you need information from me in order to determine if I'm a U.S. citizen or not." She's like, "You're not a U.S. citizen? You sound like one." I was like, "So what? Like, that doesn't matter." My friend moved here from when he was 2 years old from the Philippines. He has no Filipino accent. He speaks like a regular American dude. No one would have known that the guy was never a U.S. citizen. Never. He was always a Filipino citizen or whatever they're called, right? And he didn't even know. He didn't know until he got in trouble when his green card. He didn't even know he had a green card until he found out that the green card passed, and they came and picked him up. Him and his family got picked up for that. And I'm like, "You're not a U.S. citizen?" He's like, "No, I don't know." He didn't know, And that's the thing. Nobody knew. So when this girl says to me, "Oh, you're a U.S. citizen," I go, "How do you know that? What made you make that determination? I'm a U.S. citizen." "Well, you sound like one. You look like one." "Really? I look like a U.S. citizen?" U.S. citizens can look like anything. Right? I'm like, I think you're kind of lost here. Like, I kind of look European, if you ask me. Right? It's a presumption. I know. And this is a girl that works at a bank. And she's like looking and she goes, "You're a U.S. citizen. What's your proof?" "Well, where were you born?" "Oh, so you don't have any proof. Now you want me to prove it for you." "Got it. Thank you. Got it now." "Canadian." "Yeah." Right? Yeah, a lot of people can't tell the difference between an American and a Canadian. That's true. Right? I mean, if you listen to their voice, you can hear like those little distinct little subtle differences in the way they say words, right? But there's a lot of Americans that have like Canadian sounding accents and they're still Americans, and vice versa. Like there's Canadians that sound American and they're freaking Canadian. So whatever. Can a traffic ticket be thrown out because of the officer misspelling my name and putting the ticket on the wrong put on the ticket the wrong address? I mean, I guess it could be, because if it's not the proper party, you go, "Well, that's not me. I'm only here to answer to this, but that's not me," right? I that's a slim argument to win, but it is. You could do a motion to dismiss for improper parties. Like the proper party wasn't named on the ticket. And then you can also use that as evidence that maybe this police officer isn't very competent because he's putting the wrong. You gave him the right information on the card, right, on the driver's license or whatever ID you gave him, and yet he still put the wrong name on the ticket anyway. Maybe this guy's not to be trusted because he has really poor duplication skills, right? I didn't, like, I mean, there's, that's, you could make that argument. That might be a stronger argument. The fact that he's just not smart, and that maybe his adjudication of situations shouldn't be trusted. Okay. And, I mean, it depends on the ticket though. If it's like some of the parking tickets, for example, they're really not even worth fighting. You're going to spend more time and energy fighting parking tickets than just paying it. Like it's going to cost you more in time and energy. But like, speeding tickets and stuff like that, or tickets that are going to like cause a lot of damage and stuff like that, very expensive tickets, that's a little different. Do you think the U.S. economy would be better or worse for everyone in 2027? I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question. I'm not really sure how the economy is going to go, but one thing is you can always outcreate that economy. A bad economy could be outcreated by someone pulling forward and making you. No, I don't want to co-host with some booty shaking girl. Uh, See, this is the thing. I need to get out of jury duty, right? And I'm like, why do you want to get out of jury duty? You know, you can change the laws on a jury. The jury does not need to follow the law. The jury, right, in a trial by jury, okay, the jury adjudicates who's right and wrong in the case. Okay, this is our power. This is where our power has totally been stripped from us by just them just not even telling us that we have this ability. You could nullify a law by saying, well, you know what? Like, let's say, like Paul over here. Let's say he turn signal ticket. Are you kidding me? A turn sig. This is what they're ticketing. Oh, you didn't use your turn signal. You didn't use fucking manners, asshole. Like, what? Like, this is it. Like, this is the petty shit. Like, oh, you didn't use your turn signal. No, you didn't stop the bank robbery. Well, like, what? Why don't you go find some real crime out there, man? Leave the people alone. I'm sure everyone, like, the turn signal thing, whatever. I mean, sometimes, you know, like in certain situations, you probably should use it because gotta let people know you're turning so that way, you know, you don't kill someone, right? But, geez, man, like, come on. So fucking pathetic. Use the turn signal. Okay, crybaby. But what was, anyway, back to this. Um, if you really want to get out of jury duty, just go down there and tell them that you're all for jury nullification, which is what we're talking about. Just tell them, yeah, I'd love to be on the jury. I want to make sure all the other jurors know about jury nullification, so that way we can fix all the laws that we don't like. And they're gonna be like, you're excused, get the fuck out. But in reality, jury nullification is a lot of where our power is. Okay, our power to change the laws. We don't have to follow these things because remember, it's still we the people. It's we the people. So when you're one of the people and you're on the jury and you hear, like, let's say Paul got a ticket over here for not using his turn signal, right? Well, you know, you're on the jury listening to this case and you go, you know what? We're going to nullify that. We don't want the cops writing tickets over stupid turn signal or not using a turn signal. But why don't they go after like some real stuff? Like, he literally had to stop this dude in his day and make him pay money because he didn't do this. Right? Was anyone harmed? No. Did anyone get injured? No. Did anyone get annoyed? Maybe. But annoyance doesn't mean that you got to pay the state money. Okay? And then they go, okay, we're going to drop that. You know, cops shouldn't be ticketing people for this. They have a real duty in society to protect the people against criminality. Using a turn signal is not criminality, or not using a turn signal is not criminality, right? Jury only contains indoctrinated U.S. citizens. That's right. So if you go in there and show them that you know what you're doing, they're going to kick you right out anyway. Like, I went in there and they were like, oh, we're going to do jury duty. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I feel that everyone's responsible for his own condition. They kicked me right the fuck out. Everyone's responsible for their own condition. They kicked me right out. Okay, that's enough out of you. Get out. Like, really? You guys don't believe in that here? A traffic ticket could be thrown out because, oh, yeah, that's the same thing. Turn signal. Crap, I can't believe that. But yeah, we have the right, man, to do that. But I promise you, if you go in there and start talking jury nullification, they will kick you out. They will not want you back. All right. So that is the tip. But really, that's also the point where we want to be. We want to have that. If we could teach the entire United States of America about jury nullification, okay, the entire U.S., they could never, because they kick people out because of that. They don't want people to know about it, and they don't want the juries to know that they can do this. But if you were to teach all the children in all the schools across America about jury nullification and that they had the power to change the laws and stop people from getting harmed by the state through jury nullification, in the matter of a decade or decade and a half, what would happen is the court system would fundamentally change. The statutes, right, would fundamentally change, right? It would take, I would say, probably about 2 decades, but within those 2 decades, everything would be different because all of a sudden people would be demanding trial by jury. The juries would be like, well, I don't want to have to pay property taxes either. Screw that. No, you shouldn't have to take this guy's house over property taxes. Bang, gone. Right? Jury notification. Oh, this guy got a bunch of tickets because his registration was expired. They took his car and he had to do all this. Well, you know what? You can't take the guy's car. You can't do that. Jury notification. We don't want the cops taking your car because the registration expired. Bang, gone. Right? And you just keep doing this down the line. And if we have a well-informed jury across America, it would fucking destroy the judicial system as it's set up currently. It would destroy the legislation from being able to pass all these unjust regulations and statutes. It would destroy it. Because everyone would go in there and go, fuck that, we don't want to deal with that. And everyone would be demanding jury trials. I want a trial by jury. Right? Now, the jury trial is different than a trial by jury. A jury trial is when the judge explains the law to the jury and then they have to follow the law. A trial by jury is when the jury gets to do whatever the hell they want. They make the decision, that's it. The judge only gets to make a ruling based off of that. Off of the jury's finding and decision, the judge can make a decision. But his job is really to mediate between the parties at that point. Okay, that's his job, is to mediate. Did you see they made gold legal tender in Florida? Yep. Of course it's tax-free. They can't tax gold. That's why they had such a hard time with the taxes after the 16th Amendment, was because they couldn't tax gold. They can only tax all those currencies and stuff like that, right? So that's why they got rid of the gold. To cripple the people. They wanted to cripple Americans because America is the biggest threat on this planet to world domination by I can't say it on TikTok because TikTok will ban me. So, but you know what I'm talking about. You guys know who the three are. Okay. And then there's the secret ones underneath all that too. Okay. Is it free zero-cost healthcare through employers still tied to your IRS? It's always been. It's always been tied to your Social Security account. All that's been tied to your Social Security. Can't tax coffee beans either. Sales tax, but not if you're getting paid in coffee beans. If you're getting paid in coffee beans, they go, well, they can't tax that. You got a point there. Oh yeah, they paid me in coffee beans. So we can't get any money from you. You want a cup of coffee? I'll give you a cup of coffee. All right, but you're gonna have to sit here and hang out with me. We're gonna be friends now. Let's see. What's this say? I beat a parking ticket in Ohio by not accepting it, by endorsing it without recourse 3 times. Haven't heard anything else. That's great, Eric. Great work there, man. Yeah, great to see you. Yeah, I wasn't on last week. I don't know why. What was I doing? I had something to do. So I wasn't on last week, but I'm on today. Common law right of offset to discharge debts. If all the American people figured that out, how would it affect the national debt? Well, if everyone did that and started bringing the national debt down to zero, it would collapse. And if we had like an ethical, honest, intentioned president who wasn't bought out by Israel or something of the sort, TikTok, right? Then we would actually go back to the gold standard, and it would eliminate the entire Federal Reserve currency that we're operating off of. The Treasury go back to minting coins and then using silver and gold certificates. All right, we would have a stable economy after that. Okay, exactly. Yeah, stain your concrete. Yeah, exactly. Jury nullification. What crime has been committed? Therefore, we nullified that law, which wasn't a law at all. It was a code, statute, mandate, or policy. Yeah. The country called I'm just trying to be careful because you can't say certain things on TikTok. I've been shut down by them before. On YouTube, I think it's okay. I think I can get away with saying a lot on YouTube. And Zoom, we can say what the fuck we want because no one gives a shit. It's a Zoom meeting. And Telegram's the same way. You can say whatever you want, but TikTok's very sensitive. I've been banned off of TikTok for saying talking about certain things that have happened in the past. Okay. So I may want to turn TikTok off at some point and then just keep the live on YouTube here. Or even
It
go
was
live on Rumble. What's
it
that?
was something that Candace Owens had said, that instead of calling the country the name, to just refer to it as
I'm pointing to my phone on TikTok.
just to call it TikTok.
Oh, call that country TikTok. We'll call it TikTok. Same Rumble just lifted. Rumble? You got suspended on Rumble? And Rumble doesn't ban anything. You must have did something bad. Rumble? Really? Rumble was the only place I was able to post anything for a long time. That and Gab. Gab.com. What'd you put up there, man? It must have been bad. He's gonna don't comment it in TikTok because he'll probably get banned again. TikTok is a violation of First Amendment as well as Facebook. Actually, I spent a year banned on Facebook. I was banned from Facebook for a whole year. Um, and yeah, so I trust me, I know. So the thing is that these guys
Need water right there.
exactly. We're gonna mute you out, Keith, because I don't think you realize that you're not that you're on mute. Okay. Anyway, the point is this though. They're gonna plead the First Amendment, right, when they go into court. But when you plead First Amendment, they go, well, we're trying to make it a safe space for everybody. Fuck your safe space. Stop being a bunch of pussies. You know, this is what they're turning the world into that. That's what they're turning the world into. Okay? A bunch of like soft pushovers who cry and then everyone coddles. Okay? And let me tell you something, right? When you seek approval of others, when you seek things like that, you lose yourself. Okay? When you're like out there like, you know, like looking for sympathy, okay? You lose your strength. And that's what they're trying to do by doing all this stuff, right? Well, we don't want you to say these things because, you know, we're trying to keep this a safe community. We don't want, you know, people have differences of opinions and we don't want all opinions shared because some opinions might upset the opinions of others and other people's feelings. And go, well, you know, that's sympathy. Like cry on my shoulder, okay? Your mother, right? And then I'm just speaking generally. Your mother was a shoulder to cry on. Your father was a shoulder for you to learn how to, you know, to hold yourself up to stand, right? That was the whole idea, right? Sympathy only gets a child so far, right? In order to turn them into a strong adult, you have to stop sympathizing with them every time they get hurt or every time something bad happens. You got to say, you know, well, what are you going to do to make it better next time? What are you going to do, you know, next time? So that way that doesn't happen again. You know, like when I was playing baseball, I remember like the kids made fun of me because I kept striking out. You know, they're, oh, you suck. You know, of course I was upset. You know, I'd leave, go home. You know, I'm like all like bothered by it. And then I remember I'm like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to practice and I'm going to get so much better at all of these kids. My whole determination was to just get better and better and stronger and faster. And by the time I got to high school, I was so good at baseball. They put me on the senior varsity team, which I played for every year I was at the school. I played for the varsity team, right? Didn't play for the freshman team. Didn't play for the junior varsity team. I played for the varsity, which was the highest. It was because there was 3 teams, and yeah, that school loved me because of that. But you know, that was the thing is like I learned a lesson from that, which is don't allow like if people ridicule you, put you down, you gotta that's your moment to evaluate and like really confront that you have a weakness. Okay. And you need to build that into a strength. Okay. And sympathy is only gonna excuse and make it okay for you to be weak. And that's what TikTok is doing. TikTok is going, oh, they're there, people. You know, go ahead and cry about it. We'll protect you from the big bad opinions that we don't like. That's upsetting you, okay? And they're there. You just keep being weak down there, and we're gonna control what you think and say for the rest of your existence, okay? We're gonna manipulate you and all your children by giving you some sympathy, making you think that we care about you. But what we're trying to do is help make you diminish your power. That's why they do that. It's not even about silencing the opinions, it's about weakening the people as a whole, okay? Through sympathetic banning of stuff so that way they can appease the weak people. Instead of allowing, the dice roll where they land and let it go where it goes, right? Because people are going to get stronger, right? The more that people can communicate and share ideas and have disagreements and confront that stuff and look at what their weaknesses are, what their follies are, what their mistakes have been, right? The more you can create a stronger human race, stronger people, okay, with more integrity. But they don't want that. That's why they do all the banning. All right, I'm done with this. Let's talk about something else now.
Well, that's kind of how they got rid of rural free delivery, is getting everybody to accept the 911 addressing so that emergency preparedness people could find you out in the country.
Well, maybe I don't want to be found. Leave me alone. Nothing sucks like the Zucks. I mean, yeah, the Zuckerbergs. But yeah, I mean, I think TikTok is worse than Facebook. Facebook hasn't banned anything of mine in like over a year. I'm impressed. Okay, I think it's because of TikTok actually, because what happened was TikTok's banning all this stuff, so Facebook's like, we're going to be more lenient about things now, right? I mean, I've said some heinous stuff inside the Facebook comments lately. Not lately, but in recent times, like in the last few months, I've said some really, really, really foul stuff to people, and nothing, no ban, no nothing. There was a time where I made a comment. I defined what a brave was, like the small Indian boy. I defined that, and then Facebook banned me for 30 days for giving the definition of brave as it pertains to a little Indian boy. I'm like, that's what it means. But they banned me, and then when I did the appeal, they didn't care, and they were banning everything. Like, oh, it's Joe Talk, ban him. Joe made a comment, ban him. Joe put up a post, ban him. Didn't even matter what it was. I was banned for everything. Yeah. So, but hey, good to see you. I just got a death threat not long ago. So did I. Hey, wow, look. Hey, we got something in common. We both got death threats. Look at that. Except mine happened from someone inside of my Telegram group, and he threatened to kill me because I corrected him on something that he said that was wrong. So, okay. You're not the one, dude. That's not a sovereign. That's not a free man right there. All right? He's still got mental imprisonment as he sits there and threatens people, threatens to harm or kill people because of the fact that he was incorrect about something and was publicly corrected, even though he publicly said something incorrect. Okay? He wants to, he feels the right thing to do is to take a man's life for it. Right? That's not what free men and women do. Free men and women allow people to say what they want, get corrected when they need to be corrected about something, okay, and can peacefully exist with people they disagree with. Okay. Nope, I do not message anyone privately. If someone's privately messaging you, that is a scammer. I'm not going to go on my way to message you unless we have a conversation. I go, hey, I'll message you. But I'll be saying something like this, like you'll be like, hey, I'll message you. Other than that, I'm not reaching out to you. Are you kidding me? I'm busy writing fiction books right now. I'm on a real kick right now, writing some fiction stories, and I really like put all my attention on that. So I haven't been doing much research lately over the past couple of days. Yeah, there's a Western. They're all Westerns, but I'm writing a whole saga about a character. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm trying to make it real gritty and just straight to the point kind of stories, like a gritty like Western noir type of yeah. Yeah. Watch out for the scammers, people. Okay, the scammer has gotten really good. They started using AI to make it look like it's me talking. That's not. That's. I mean, it sounds weird when it talks. Like they use my voice and image and everything. And then goes, "This is my only account." I'm like, fucking weird, man. But yeah, man, they're getting slicker. Are you working with anyone? When you
Community.
Can you expand on that question? I'm not sure what you mean by working with anyone.
Community.
Huh?
You're working with the trust community.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Yeah, I work my guitar, right? I got my guitar, I can work with that. Right?
I found your music YouTube.
You found my music on YouTube? Oh yeah, Blackstone
Yeah.
commentaries, that's good stuff to use. So someone on Telegram reached out to welcome me into your chat. That's not me. I don't bother to reach out to you. I have a welcome thing. When you join my group, there's a bloop, a whole thing comes down, a bunch of videos. That's it. That's your welcome. Welcome to my community. Welcome to my Telegram group. Here's a bunch of videos you can watch. Don't ask me questions about it because it's all answered on there. That's who is trustworthy that is in your circle. I guess Melody's trustworthy. So you want to say hi?
Greetings. Greetings.
Ellie is Ellie Verdant. She's on TikTok as well, and I follow her. I think my follow list is blocked or something, or private or something. I gotta change that.
Yeah, you made it private so people couldn't see who was following you.
Know who I'm following. Oh, it's both. I don't really care. I don't. I think I did that by accident. I was messing around and it was like, oh, now all your followers or whoever you're following is blocked. I'm like, I'll tell you everybody who I'm following. I don't really care. You know. Do you know anyone good with trusts? Me. Oh.
Joe Lustica. That's who's good with trust.
Well, yeah, I have a whole trust group. So like we have I have a whole trust group. This is the trust group here, guys. Everyone from the trust community want to say hello real quick? Unmute and just say hi. That's the trust group right here. No? They're also very shy. There's a whole bunch of people on, but they don't want to say anything.
I was typing in the TikTok your web address for the trust community.
Oh, okay. So this is one of my trusts. This is Guitar Education Trust. Okay. And look how big this one is. It's got a lot of stuff. It's voluminous for a trust, right? That's because it's also a school. I run it through a school, private foundation, and a school, and I write policies and bulletins for the school. So the policies are like rules that the school needs to follow as a foundation, and then the bulletins are like the technical aspects of teaching and delivering the services here, right? Between either selling instruments or teaching how teaching, like the philosophy of teaching that I use, and that's what's in here. So I'll tell you something. Like one of the bulletins in here is talking about words and how words need to be understood. I have a policy or bulletin in here about the first lesson. It's called the first lesson. Okay. And I break down exactly how you do the first lesson with somebody. And this is a technical point I put together over many years of teaching guitar. I found the most effective way to do a first lesson on the guitar with somebody, right? And this is me taking notes. I got like marble composition notebooks full of notes. And so that's what that is. Not that anyone probably wants to hear about it, but this is one of my trusts right here. But this is an active trust. This is not a passive trust. Like most people are more interested in passive trusts, right? Which obviously I have those too, because behind these, right, all the assets go into passive trust. These are just active. Then I have passive ones. That one I have set up for a specific reason. right? The other one I have set up for it's like a living trust. It's for my children to take over whatever properties I want to give to them when I pass away. This is a active trust, right? So that way, all the stuff that is held in this trust is going to go to that living trust, right, later on, and so that it's using the properties there. Okay, then I have another passive trust that I use for other things. I have another active trust which I'm using in regards to the all the books I'm writing, right, for on Amazon. Um, how would I get to talk to you? I have so many questions. We're talking right now, man. I want like explaining how to not pay taxes as the majority of people are ignorant. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That was that was not bad. I missed something there.
Show your playlist on Rumble, Joe. That might help that one chick that was just asking a question.
Oh yeah, I got playlists on Rumble here. Yeah, let me go share that too. That's a good point. I forget that I went and did all that. Wasn't that nice of me? All right, so playlists. Okay, I got 3 playlists here. If you do need a trust, like if for your mom, hit me up privately. All right. Here on TikTok, this is my only account. Okay. And what we'll do is we'll set up a meeting. We'll find out what's your mom's situation, what the needs are, right? What you're trying to do with that trust, how do you want it set up, and then we'll work out some things, and then I'll write the trust for you, and then you'll be done. Okay, there's Ellie right there. We were just talking about you. Look at that. Because someone was asking who do I trust here, and your name was like the first name out of my mouth, right? And here she is. So she's great. All right. But yeah, hit me up privately. I'll help you set that up. It'll be because I like to make these trusts like set up specifically. It's always tailor made to what your needs are, not like some kind of here's a template. I see people do that. They like sell templates. I'm like, why do that? Why do that when we could create something that's just for you, just for your situation, right? I think it's much better that way anyway. And in my trust community, right, which everyone's here right now, one of the things I tell people is that when you're doing a trust, like you hear on the internet, you make sure that your trust is a foreign trust and that it's this and it has to be irrevocable or irrevocable and blah 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 this and blah 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 that and all these other things, and then people come to me and they go, wait a second, you're talking about a revocable trust, but I thought you can't do that. I'm like, you can't do that if you don't know how to set up a trust properly. If you can't properly structure a trust. And I could write down right now, I could write a trust right now, say that it's under the jurisdiction of this trust will be under the state of New Jersey. Okay. And even though and it could be a revocable trust, and even the way it's set up, this court still can't do shit to it. Because I know how to structure the trust properly so they can't touch you. Right? They are telling her how do you receive an EIN number from the IRS to operate in trust? Well, it's an SS4 form. You just fill it out, give them the data, tell them the name of the trust, what kind of trust it is, and then you send it in, and then they give you the EIN. You could do it online. It takes like 5 minutes if you do it online, but I don't think you could do it today, only Monday through Friday. But you know what I'll do? I'll just go and maybe I'll just show you guys how to do it on a live or something. But the problem with showing people how to do that on video is that you have to put in somebody's like social security number. So,
Yeah.
But it's really simple. If you go to irs.gov, apply for an EIN, right? Just fill in the data that they're asking you for, trust, and then whatever kind of trust you want to use, and then they're going to give you the EIN. It's very, very simple. It's not hard at all. All right. Like I swear, if you spent 10 minutes on their website, within 5 minutes, you'd have it figured out what to do. It's right. It's just
Hey, Joe,
aren't going to their website. Yeah.
I told Ellie I'd do her a favor. Her friend Lex is needing more followers. Carpe diem. If Ellie would drop in his name in Telegram and get Lex some more followers so he can go live.
On what?
He's going on TikTok.
Tell him to come on my live on TikTok, and I'll get people to follow him on here because Lex is great. Lex is
Yeah, he is.
Lex is one of the best. All right, like you're not gonna find many people that it's better than this dude. All right, like he really is one of the best out there. All right. Lex joined TikTok for you. Of course he did. I'll tell you, like Lex, I hold that guy in high regard because he's a freaking genius. Okay, and nobody knows who he is. It's a shame, and he holds Ellie here in high regard. So that just tells you the the kind of people we're dealing with over here. Okay, we got some serious people here.
I've been learning lots about equity through Ellie. So I told her I would, on the next live with you, I would mention his name to get him some followers.
I need help writing an affidavit of my American nationality. I'm a New Yorker. So you could just say, I declare under penalty of perjury on the laws of the United States of America that I mean, that you got to put that at the end. But just go, I declare that you name, and born on the land of New York, okay? And that, basically the 14th Amendment does apply. You say something like, the 14th Amendment states that all persons born and naturalized and subject to the jurisdiction of the United States are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. But it says, but the term and subject to provides that not everyone is subject to the jurisdiction of the United States, meaning that not everybody, it doesn't apply to everybody that you are a citizen of the United States, but merely just, well, not merely, but mainly just a citizen of the state. By birthright, I'm a New Yorker. And as a New Yorker, my allegiance is to New York and not to the state of New York, which is just a federal enclave of the United States, right? So and then you could talk about the military stuff too, the martial law thing in there. But basically, that's it. You just say, well, I declare that I'm American. I'm an American national. My allegiance is to New York. I was born on the land of New York, and I'm not subject to the jurisdiction of the United States per the 14th Amendment. And you can so like the government printing office manual style of manuals, right? Recognizes my nationality, right, as one of the natives of the states of New York, New Yorker. So I'm a New Yorker. I mean, you guys even know that. Pretty clear. I mean, if the style of manuals recognizes me as a New Yorker because of my nationality as a New Yorker, then you guys need to recognize it too. And that's it. I mean, it doesn't have to be very complicated, right? I mean, the definition of persons in the 14th Amendment applies to corporations anyway. You're not a corporation. This is why people say living man all the time, because they're trying to get around that corporate thing. But the living man term has been turned into, oh, you're a sovereign citizen. Oh, he said he was a living man. What do you mean? I can't say that now? Can't say that? These guys don't believe in free speech, right? When you put stuff into your court paperwork saying I'm a living man or I'm a living woman, and they start calling you sovereign citizen, first thing that they're doing is they're restricting your speech. That's a violation of First Amendment, and I think everyone needs to call that shit out right away. Oh, you said some sovereign citizen stuff. Are you telling me I don't have a right to say what I want to say? Well, you can say whatever you want, but we're going to label it like this. That sounds like a bill of attainder. A bill of attainder is marking somebody guilty of a crime before any evidence of proof of guilt has occurred. It's like when the legislation passes a law, if the legislators of a state pass a law and define sovereign citizen as people who stand on their rights or whatever fucking definition, that's a bill of attainder, and it automatically be shot down. You sue them in federal court and you'll win because the bill of attainder is illegal according to the Constitution. They can't do that. So this is why I say when they put this stuff, you're a sovereign citizen. They go, oh, okay, what's the legislative definition that you're using there? What evidence do you have to provide to the court that I am this sovereign citizen that you speak of? Okay. Are you trying to poison the record or spoil the record and create judicial bias with that term? They have to strike it from the record. And when I did this in a court case, because the guy's entire argument was how I was a sovereign citizen, and I asked 3 questions. I said, what's the legislative definition of sovereign citizen? right? Yeah, they're trying to create a judicial bias. And he's like, what do you mean? Well, I don't, well, no, there's no legislative definition. It's just this is a term that we use, you know, to describe certain types of people. Is that a bill of attainder? No, it's not a bill of attainder because it's not legislative, but you're treating it as though it is. So you're inventing your own term to use in the court system in order to create judicial bias. Okay, great. All right. Is that what you're doing? Your Honor, I need to do an adjournment for today. I'm going to have to rewrite this. Yeah, it's probably better if you rewrite your brief. We'll do an adjournment. He gave him like 10 days to rewrite the brief or something like that, 10 or 15 days. They were pissed. Now the guy had to argue on the merits of the case. He couldn't do it. He couldn't argue the merits of the case. What a weak dude that guy was. He's so weak. His whole thing was, I'm a sovereign citizen, so I'm automatically guilty. And I said, I don't even know what that word means. So, is Carpe Diem here? Carpe CPT. Wait, is Lex here? If Lex is on TikTok, say hi.
Well, I don't think he's in the room, but I've been reposting his name so more people would join his channel so he can go live.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got here. That was not bad. Like words can hurt anyone. Responsible party can be another trust. Yeah, another trust could be a responsible party. All right. Well, we got a little bit more time before I have to go. What else are we going to talk about here? I understand that I'm just a little overwhelmed with the stuff. I just need some help to get me through. Okay. I mean, I do have videos on Rumble on how to write those like affidavits up and stuff like that, but it doesn't have to be a long thing. My affidavit was 1 page. 1 page. So it doesn't have to be anything bigger than that. You know, it's very simple. Just speak your truth, you know, and let it be what it is. All right. But the trust stuff is how do I start? Well, start with I do have a playlist on Rumble, but apparently I found out you can only access it from the computer, from the phone. They don't have the playlist up on the phones for some reason. So my Rumble channel does show you, if you watch the videos in order, you'll get a full comprehension of what's going on, right? Order from like the first one made all the way up, right? If you watch those videos like that, you'll start to understand what's really going on. All right. It gives a lot of clarity. I did that on purpose because I wanted people to have like a structured way of seeing how things have been played out. Okay. And then from there, I think once I got to some of the key points, then I started branching out into other things and making long, elaborate videos, right? Whereas the first videos are pretty short because it's just showing you straight data. Like, oh, got it. Oh, got it. Like, hey guys, check this out. Did you know where the United States is? The United States is located in the District of Columbia. And people go, what? And you're like, yeah. And they're like, no, I don't believe you. I'm like, I know, you're not gonna believe me. So, I mean, I used to tell people that, and they always thought they're like, no. So that's why I started making the Rumble videos like that, because I'm like, all the original videos were on my phone with a screen recorder. And I'm like, yeah, check this out. Check it out, guys. UCC 9-307. I'm going to pull it up for everyone here. We could run right through it right now. Why not? But here we go. Location of debtor. This is under Uniform Commercial Code. So when dealing with commerce, right? When we're dealing in a commercial capacity, right? Right? State. What's a state? What's a state? They don't even tell you. No definition. Look at this. State. Means the state of the United States, the District of Columbia, Puerto Rico, the United States Virgin Islands. Okay, so it means the state of the United States. So I don't know what that means. Well, state of the United States. So like a subsidiary of the United States? I don't know. Is that what they mean? Anyway, location United States. The United States is located in the District of Columbia. right? Oh, thanks, Livy. That's very nice. Um, but yeah, the location United States, located in District of Columbia. So that's like where I start you off. And then we can look at things like, well, what's a U.S. citizen? What's a national? Like those things. Like, what is that? We can talk about state citizenship, okay? Because the national really is a state citizen. You know, it's just that it's like things like the Department of State and certain other agencies have tried to shun the state citizen term, but they can't get rid of it, so they hide it with, things like national. And that throws people off. Like the GPO style manual says nationalities, and then they list out the 50 states, right? So all those things just show you that that's what's going on, right? I've had people. There's some guy who's like arguing with me about it on Telegram. I really don't like talking to him because we did a live debate on TikTok, and all he did was scream and yell at me. Then he tags me on some video. I watched the video and I can't listen to it because he's fucking yelling in the video. I'm like, who are you yelling at? This guy just yells at people. He's like yelling at nobody. I'm like, okay, whatever. He's going fucking apeshit. I'm like, shut up. Stop arguing. Like, you're always just trying to fight. Right? Like, man, just read something. But the thing is that he doesn't even offer remedy, which is the funniest thing about it. He just wants to make everybody else wrong. And I know he doesn't even know what he's talking about because he doesn't understand definitions of words. And if you don't understand definitions of words, you can't really learn. Okay, and that's part of the problem. Although he's arguing definitions, the definitions are clear. Okay? The definition's been pretty damn clear. I thought I had a visitor. Oh, see, that's the thing. This is the only guy who wants to debate me. Nobody wants to debate me anymore. It's like really... I wouldn't mind debating the guy if he wasn't always yelling. The problem is he always yells and cuts me off, so it's not a debate. Right? That's the problem. Otherwise, I would be totally fine with the debating, but he's always yelling, and he cuts me off, doesn't let me talk, just starts saying that he's always right. And I even said, I was like, this guy's using a mental mechanism where he has to make himself right and others wrong, and then he admitted to it on the live. So I'm like, did you see trust information on Rumble? If you go to any of my Rumble videos, you'll find a link where you can book a one-on-one with me, and we can structure a trust for you, or you could join the trust community, and in the trust community you can learn how to structure trust yourself. I was in hog heaven with this doctor, but he blocked me. Hog heaven? Talk about motorcycles? You made my trust. Oh, I made your trust. Okay. Oh, all right. Well, I mean, it depends what you want to do with the trust. Okay. I mean, you could put stuff in there. I don't know. I mean, depending on what you need. I think we set up the trust for you based off of what you told me. So you could put properties in there and stuff like that. You want to take out a loan. A loan. Well, and you could do that with the trust, I guess, right? If the trust holds some assets or something like that, the bank might probably give a loan. But that's when you have to go down to the bank. Insurance policy, yeah, that's another thing. We talked about that. I showed you guys how to do that. Yeah, 3 properties. You could probably get a loan from the bank. You have to go down there and talk to some bankers and stuff like that, see what you can work out. Right, because the banks do get finicky about those things. Like they kind of, I don't know. Like they didn't want to give my foundation a loan, and then they never gave me a reason why. I'm like, well, that's weird because like this is a business. I mean, the loan was for something else, but they didn't want to do it. So okay, they wouldn't give me a reason why. So who knows? Try to put your land patent into a trust. Well, that way the trust owns the land patent. They can try to make claims over for you because of the fact that you have a birth certificate and you have a social security number and you as long as you're operating under the presumption that those two entities are you, then they can come after you and do things to you. But once you put it into a trust, even if you haven't done any processes, your land patent is protected by the trust. They don't have any jurisdiction over that trust until the trust does something illegal, right, under state statute. Then they can exercise jurisdiction over that trust. Okay, unless the trust is set up a certain way, with certain provisions and certain types of setups that protects the trust from being invaded by the state. Okay, and that is exactly what I'm teaching inside of my trust community. How do I buy a house? How do I get a mortgage? Well, see, that's the thing. You're asking questions that may not be able to be answered right in a general live, because like buying a house could require, you know, there's a bunch of things that go along with that. You know, yeah, right. You, I keep stressing you because you has a certain definition. It's one who owes a debt to the United States. That's what it means. Okay. So that when I'm saying you and stressing it, it's because of that reason, which I should just show that here too. Hold on. Let's go there. Let's pull that up. We're going to pull this up on YouTube here. You, okay. And this is how they get you, because you keep saying, yeah, that's me, and then you and me, you. All right, Social Security Administration. Yeah, it's in here. It's in here. Nope, sorry, went too far. It's in here, general procedures. All right, Social Security numbers. Okay. Applying for a number, birth registration document, immigration form. If you complete a prescribed application, we will require you to furnish evidence. Well, who's you? You? You owe a debt to the United States? Is that who you are? Because that's the definition of you. So why are you applying, or why did your parents apply for a Social Security number for you, right? If you don't owe a debt to the United States. They were under the impression, okay, that they were supposed to give you, the real you, a Social Security number. Okay? If you complete a prescribed application, we require you to furnish evidence as necessary to assist us in establishing your age, U.S. citizenship or alien status, true identity. See? A Social Security card is not your true identity. They're telling you right there. Okay? Like, this is the thing. People don't see this. It's right there. It says it right there. All right? These are how the numbers are assigned. And previously assigned Social Security numbers, if any, we may require you to undergo a personal interview before we assign a Social Security number. If you request evidence to show, look how they're saying that, like, oh, well, we're gonna have to interview you first, before you do that. Take the trust to the bank and ask for a broker's account. You can do that too, yeah, but then you're gonna, and that's fine to do. But remember, if you do that, your trust is gonna have to pay taxes on the income that it makes through that brokerage account. So your trust will create taxable events. So you might want to do that, and you may not want to do that. You may want to have your trust structure, right? You may want to have multiple trusts set up and structured properly before you do that. So that way you can bypass taxable events with deferring income to other trusts, okay? And then have those trusts use them for different reasons, or use the income for other things. And then what it does is it dissipates and dissolves the taxable income. Okay. Yeah, no, I know about that. That's old news. Okay. I understand that. Yeah, but the stamp in the top left corner on the side, I know. Yeah. That's old news. We've known about that for many years. I don't know where that's coming from. That seems so random. You randomly said that, but I don't see anywhere where it says that. Someone asked, what did they ask though? See, I didn't see the question. Right? That's the problem. To me, I'm like, why is she saying that? That's so random. Oh, someone else how to endorse. Oh, okay. All right. I gotcha. How to endorse what? What are they endorsing? Was it a phone bill or something?
That's why I said you had shown how to endorse different endorsements on the Telegram group,
Yeah, I'll just
where
show
you
you.
specified if you're doing this, it happens there, and if you're dealing with this, you showed 3 or 4 different versions.
Yeah, but you didn't tell them who to send it to. You're not going to send it to the company. You don't send it back to that number. There's when you do the bill endorsement like that. Okay, here, let me pull this up. Let's go here. We'll go to CFR Title 31. Okay. Oh, shoot, wrong one. And we're gonna go fiscal service here. It's 28, 20 restrictive endorsements. Here. Forms of endorsements. When presented by banks for payment or exchange, the endorsement placed on the bearer security presented for payment by exchange by a bank should be in the following form. Okay, so what we've done with this is we just copy this thing, paste into like a Word document, right? And then what we do is we take the text box, we turn it sideways like this, and then put it in the corner. That's what we did. So we copy this thing, put it in, and then handwrite that part in, right? For conversion of book entry securities, depends what you want to do with this, but you don't send it to the normal place. Okay, you have to send that. This bill is going to get sent either to the CEO, the CFO, or a special payment processing place. You have to look for non-cash payments, stuff like that, those addresses. Okay, and you send it to them like that and endorse it, and then it'll get paid. All right, but that's how you do it. I was like, yeah, but I think we talked about this on Telegram like years. I mean, yeah, we did a live on it like years ago, but whatever. We can keep. I got to come with peace with the fact that we're gonna repeat a lot of things over the years because there's always gonna be somebody that doesn't know, right? Um, yeah, I think we have models. I think there's probably stuff on Telegram. You know what? But once you have a bill, right? You take this thing and you put it in like that. Um, CFO, I don't say, we tried doing the indenture trustee and sometimes that worked. It didn't always work. Sometimes they moved the indenture trustees switch too. So that's also another problem. So I just send it to you just look on like the 8K or 10K forms. Like here, let's do this. We're going to sec.gov and we're going to just pick, give me, let's do Capital One. Capital One. Capital One. Come on. Here we go here. And say, okay, here's the company information. All right. Located in Virginia. They're incorporated in Delaware. Hi. We're in Delaware. It's like fucking Wayne's World. All right. Like that's all these companies. Hi. We're in Delaware. And then yeah, US Bank NA or crooks. Yeah, so yeah, but you can hold their feet to the fire because what you're doing is you're giving them an original issue discount. That's what you're giving them. What is an original issue discount? That is a debt instrument that has a maturity on it, right? That pays out the maturity of interest. That's what you're giving them. The bills every month are the OID. It's the maturity of the bond at that point in time. That's what it is. So that's what you're giving them. So when you're giving these companies debt instruments, you're supposed to report it to the IRS. This is the other thing. This is the part that people don't understand. They're like, oh, you go do this or this. This is the magical thing to do, but you don't understand that there's no magical thing. You just got to follow the rules. The financial system is structured in a very complex way on purpose. Okay, some of the complexities are there to protect against fraud. Some of the complexities are there to deter people from learning about it. Okay. But the thing is this, that no matter what you're doing, when you're operating with all these securities and these debt instruments, they need to be reported to the IRS so the IRS can assess the taxes on it properly. Okay. So that way they know who's actually supposed to be paying tax on what situation here. A lot of people leave a lot of this stuff unreported and then create a tax liability for themselves and they're not supposed to. So you go into here, let's look at the 8K form here, right? This is all like current reportings and stuff like that. And they should tell you who's in charge of Capital One financial corporations, right? So look, they're Delaware. I love that. I keep mentioning this. I don't think anyone remembers this thing from Wayne's World, where they're like talking about you can win a trip to New York City or you can win a trip to Texas, and then they go Delaware, and they're all like, "Hi, we're in Delaware." It's like it's hilarious. I swear, I think of that scene every time I look at these companies because they're all like, well, we're in Virginia, we're over here, we're over there, but they're incorporated in Delaware. And it's just so funny. So when you try to sue them in like another state, they go, hi, we're in Delaware. And then all of a sudden they're not a citizen of that state. So it turns into a whole other problem. And that means you have to go to Delaware to sue them in Delaware. And then Delaware, they have courts of chancery. And then they utilize the courts of chancery and equity in order to like smash the crap out of you in their court system. You see, they're very, very smart. So you got Timothy P. Golden here. He's the CAO, right? The Chief Accounting Officer. So not to him, but maybe to his boss. Okay. Right, because he's an accounting officer, but he's, and by the way, when they say officer, right, I'm going to show you guys something. Like, this is who has to pay taxes. This is the guy that needs to pay taxes. Okay, let's see. If we go 26 U.S. Code 3401, and we look at the definition of employee here, okay, this is where things get fun. This is where the fun is really at. I think I passed it. I got so excited, I just went right past the definition. Did I? Or no? No, I didn't. Wow. Oh, yes, I did. Employee. For purposes of this chapter, the term employee includes an officer, employee, or elected official of the United States, a state or any political subdivision thereof, or the District of Columbia, or any agency or instrumentality of any one of the more of the foregoing. Right? Okay. Makes sense, right? Yeah, got to be federal or state government employee, and that's an employee. The term employee also includes an officer of a corporation. Well, what's this about? This is about taxes, right? None of those definitions apply to you, do they? Right? Since they don't apply to you, these are not, but it does apply to this guy. He doesn't work for the government, but he's an officer of a corporation. So what does that mean? That means he has to pay taxes. So what did you not do? You did not report to the IRS that this guy was given debt instruments and now is taxable. Why didn't you do that? And everyone over here all butthurt about the fact that these companies are running amok. But you're not telling the IRS that these companies are creating all these tax liabilities and that they need to pay. That's them laughing at you because you don't know how the system works. Yeah, well, don't fall for that kind of crap. People, you could pay yourselves every quarter. Yeah, you can't. The 1041 only pays out annually. You can pay them quarterly, but you can only get returns back annually. So that's incorrect information. I saw the process on that, and I immediately saw a bunch of holes in that process right away. I said, there's a whole bunch of issues with that process. I'm not going to do it. And then I've heard nothing but people going, I got nothing out of it. I said, well, it's better than going to jail. All right. But I also figured out a way to make that process work because there's some truth. Like a lot of these processes has some truth in it, but there was a lot of things missing. I was like, well, this is missing, that's missing. This concept right here is incorrect. This idea is wrong. But these things, there were other points that were right. So I said, well, it's close, but Yeah, Livy knows because she's the one of the people I said, there's a bunch. I told you what was missing from the process, and all of a sudden she's like, oh shit, you're right, Joe, it didn't work. I'm like, yeah, I know. I could. When you deal with the IRS enough, you tend to know what they're going to look at and go, okay, yeah, and what they're going to look at and go, no, and then studying court cases and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know what the fee is because I'm not in charge of that. There's someone else who does all that, the billing and the monthly fees. So I don't honestly remember what it is, but there's community members here. But yeah, that's so you got to report the taxes on here. This is a guy to report it on, maybe not him directly, probably his boss. All right, but that's how this works. So you got your, if we're gonna do, see, this is when presented by a bank for payment or exchange. So what does that mean? You're giving this to the bank for them to make payment or exchange. This satisfies the debt. This is the proper way to do it, right? For redemption at par, the endorsement placed on a bearer security presented for redemption at par and payment of federal estate taxes should be in the following form. So what does it say? Federal estate taxes. So this is not the right one, right? Book entry security. This is not the right one, right? Service center directors or district directors, Internal Revenue Service. Okay, so that's IRS. This is the IRS's endorsement. That's it. So it's really the top one. But remember, it's not you presenting it, it's the bank. And this is the other problem that people have made with these endorsements is that they put it on as that they're the ones doing it. No. You're using the bank. Like you're using your credit card company, right? You're using your credit card company, you're using your utility company or whoever you're paying the bill to, right? Do you have to do it for all the different ways you endorse? I'm not sure what you're asking there, but essentially the way this works is you give this to them, you put this on there, and you're just telling them that this is what you know what they're doing. This is how the whole thing works, and that they're going that you're settling the debt with this thing, and they'll honor that. Okay. Until then, they're not going to honor these things. So you just got to make sure you do it right and understand what you're really trying to do here. Okay, otherwise it's just going to turn into a big mess, and then people are going to be like, well, it doesn't work either. Well, it doesn't work when you do it wrong, right? It's like, if you go up to swing at a baseball, right? And you come up with like a golf club. Well, you're not going to do very good, are you? It's the wrong tool, okay? So you got the wrong tool, right? Or if you got the bat, but you never swing the damn thing, or you swing it backwards or something, right? Or you try to like golf the ball when, the ball's coming straight at you, right? How long are the statements good after account closed? Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I don't know. How long are the statements good for after account closed? They're probably always good. I wouldn't, I mean, I would assume that they don't just expire because the account is closed, because a closed account you can still offset, right? With a closed account. So I think as long as that company exists, right? Then the statements are probably still good. My assumption, but I don't really know for sure. That's a good question. But just thinking with like a closed account, and that a closed account could still be used for adjustments and set-offs, the statements are probably still valid for however long out. So you get a list of people that have power of attorneys over you. Nope. You get a list of people that have power of attorneys over you. I just terminate power of attorney. So like when you go like the birth certificate, the marriage certificate, the driver's license, all applications you fill out are power of attorney forms. You're giving power of attorney over to the state one way or another, right? That's what all that is. And I'm just terminating the power of attorney with the state and federal government. Okay, let's see. We'll go through a couple of these because we'll talk about that for a second. No, I'm not a minor, but there's a no. I'm not considered a minor. Let me say that. I'm definitely not a minor, and I'm not considered one in the legal system either. So no, but you do the power of attorney. You do the assumed name, the Minnesota assumed name certificate. Those things will give you age of majority. Okay. Power of attorney is agreement between two parties, a principal and an attorney in fact. The attorney in fact need not be an attorney at law. So let's look at that real quick. An attorney in fact is an agent authorized to act on behalf of another person, but not necessarily authorized to practice law. E.g. means an example. A person authorized to act by a power of attorney, right? So like, let's say I go, no, the endorsing has nothing to do with status correction. Status correction is about standing. Endorsement has to do with just financial stuff. They don't align. All right. So, let's say your brother gets into an accident and he can't do anything for about 6 months. He's going to be in the hospital. Right? Very unfortunate, but he needs someone to manage his affairs. He gives you power of attorney for that time period, meaning that you can sign on behalf of him and make decisions for him while he's incapacitated. That's an attorney in fact. You can sign somebody's name. Okay. Right? It's fiduciary. And it's a pure fiduciary. That's what it is. All right. Now let's go back here. So power of attorney is agreement between two parties, principal and an attorney in fact. The attorney in fact need not be an attorney at law. A power of attorney gives the attorney in fact rights to act in the principal's place. Okay, look at the principal. What's the principal? It's not that guy in the school that ran the show. Okay, someone who authorizes another to act in their place. The basic amount of a debt. Someone with primary responsibility to perform an obligation. The corpus of a trust, which is composed of assets funding the trust. So that's like trust property. Someone who has to perform an obligation, a debt, the amount of a debt, or someone who's authorized to act in the place of another. That's a principal, right? So who authorizes someone to act in their place? Excuse me.
Hey, Joe,
Hey,
quick question on that. So being an attorney in fact, and I've seen some issues where people with their trust being called into court and they're made to hire a bar card, would by doing, having the power of attorney or, being the power of attorney in fact, would that be able to represent that trust?
the courts won't allow it, but the problem is that there's no law that says that only a bar card lawyer or licensed attorney can act for the trust in a court setting. It's just some made up crap. Yeah.
Gotcha. Would that apply to like an LLC as well?
Yeah. I mean, look at the U.S. Constitution. Look what it says. The U.S. Constitution makes it very damn clear, right? Where is it? Come on. Oh, it's not. Oh my goodness. Come on. Let's go. Let's do the amendments here. Why do they gotta be like this? The assistance of counsel for his defense, right? So that's the Sixth Amendment. Assistant of counsel for his defense. It doesn't say in here that only a lawyer can be counsel for somebody in their defense. And the same thing applies to a trust.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Had your daughter this year, no birth certificate, social security card, any advice? Keep it going. All right, just make sure you record it in like a family Bible. All right, homeschool this girl. I think you're off to a great start. But yeah, but it doesn't say, I mean, it's BS when they say that stuff. You know, I don't even care if the legislation passed something that says that. It's like now they just put a monopoly on your right under the Sixth Amendment.
Yeah, almost a violation of the 13th.
Yeah, that's right. Slavery. Now you have to pay for service that you didn't even want. Right? So it violates Sixth Amendment, the 13th Amendment. It's a fucking problem. And they're full of shit. The problem is that they don't want some random dude who didn't go to law school and then pledge the ABA pledge, right? Who didn't make those pledges to the bar association and make their oaths with the bar, to come in and start running amok of the court system with trusts. They want to have jurisdiction over these people. They want to have jurisdiction over the trust. This is why, the same thing happens when someone goes to court and then they go, you should get a lawyer. And he goes, well, I'll take that under advisement. Right? Oh, that's a great name too. Look at that. Oh, get a lawyer, or it's not going to go well for you. Why? Why do you think I'm an idiot? Are you going to try to treat me as one? You treating me as a minor? You think I'm a child? I'm a ward of the state? What's going on here? They don't have jurisdiction.
They want you to be incompetent.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they want you to be incompetent. They assume that you already are incompetent. You know, so that's where were we? Anyway, the point was though that under the Sixth Amendment, you have these rights, but they're screwing around with the people, and people don't know how to make this argument against them. Oh, you can't represent the trust. Yeah, where in the Constitution say that? Oh no, that's a judicial rule. Oh, okay, so you guys are legislative now? They traffic the incompetent. That's right. They make money off of the incompetent. That's it. So, rule number one about it being American: stop being incompetent. No more incompetency. Okay? No more excuses. You see all these freaking nut jobs on the internet talking about how screwed up the country is because we got things like gun rights. And I'm like, you guys, you need to shut up for a minute and reevaluate what you're actually arguing here. You think you're arguing about kindness, okay, and about caring for other people, but you're so ignorant to the fact that the lack of guns has brought about a totalitarianism across the world, okay, and has killed more people than it's ever saved, okay. The lack of guns has killed more people on this planet than guns as a whole have, okay. And yeah, I know the birth record thing. I put that up years ago, and I see people sharing it all over the place. I found that thing years ago. Now everyone's like sharing that stuff. But yeah, and I'm like, you guys are ignorant. You're like, but we're caring. You think now these people, right, who think that way, okay, this is the problem with them. The problem is that they are ignorant to the idea that our government wouldn't do this, right? They think that our government would do this. They're ignorant to the idea. They don't realize that the thing that is keeping the government, the American government, in line to the degree that it is, because look what they do. They just slowly make things worse. They slowly make things worse, right? And people accept the slight increases, right? Like if you accept the slight increase in like police ticketing today, your children are going to accept it as a normal tomorrow. Okay, well, that's just how it is. And then what do? They increase it a little bit more in their time. So their children are going to see more government encroachment and consider it normal. What these people don't understand is that the second all the guns are gone, There's no more gradient encroachment of everyone's rights. It's an all-out fucking war. Bang, we got you now, bitches, and we're gonna fucking control you. And that's it. You're done for. Because that's the thing that's holding them back right now. Right now, they're being held back because of that. That is what's holding them back. Otherwise, we would have sold a long time ago. Okay? Bought, sold, no constitution, nothing. That is the thing that's holding them back. And all these people who are out there crying about guns and how guns are dangerous don't realize how much more dangerous tyranny is. Okay? Yeah, guns can be dangerous. Okay? But guns also get you food. Okay? A gun does not need to be fired in order for it to protect. Okay? Just the showing of a gun can stop a situation from going bad. Okay? Don't even need to shoot one. Okay? I had a friend who carried a gun around, and I asked him to see it one day, and I picked it up, and I was like, hey, this thing's empty. He goes, yeah, I know, it's lighter without bullets. He just carried the thing around unloaded. I'm like, why do you do that? He goes, it's just for show. He's just showing it around so people don't mess with him. He has no intent of shooting anybody. It's just the mere idea that the gun is there, right, will tame people that need taming. Okay? But these people, these psychopaths out there, and I'm telling you, every single one of them, you don't like guns and you want to get rid of them, you are a psychopath. All right? Be offended by my statement. I want you to be offended because I want you to go and dig deep and do hardcore research to prove me wrong. Because what you're going to do, by the time you're done with all that research and all the history about what's happened when countries have taken away guns, you're going to come back and you're going to go to the store and buy a gun. That's what you're going to end up doing. Like, shit, I should just go buy one myself now, shouldn't I? Right? Yeah, people are dangerous. It's the people that are dangerous. Look, doctors are more dangerous than guns. Look how many more people die every year. Here, you know what? Let's do that real quick. That's a fun one. We're going to go. I think it's .com. Is it? No, that's not it. Let's do that. Statistica. Come on. No, this isn't it. Where is it? It's the thing with all the stats. Oh, I think this is it. This is it. Oh, it's so big. That's not it either. What the heck is going on here? Was this it? I thought it was. I think maybe it is this website. This is .co, not .com, but no, I don't know. Anyway, there's this really great website, which I'm apparently not finding right now, which gives all these stats of all this stuff. Like it says, Statistica reports the 35. So let's see, maybe I can find it from here. Statistica. No, I don't know. I can't find it. Anyway, I used to use this website a lot to look up statistics, but now I can't find it. I thought it was Statistica. Maybe it was that one? No, I don't remember. Oh, well, fuck it. It's gone. I don't remember what it was. I'll find it one day, but it was awesome because what it did was it gave you a rundown of like all the deaths in the country, right? How all the deaths occurred, right? Of murder, what was used, and it's as clear as day. I went and used this in an argument with somebody on Facebook years ago, and his response was, "Where's all that data coming from?" I go, "The FBI database," and his response to that, "The FBI is not allowed to keep stats on stuff like that." I said, "What the fuck are you talking about? The FBI can't keep stats on crime? That's literally their whole job." Stupid ass arguments from stupid people, right?
You didn't bookmark such a good web page?
I haven't used it in years because I haven't had to argue with these morons in many years. Because their whole argument was this: well, it says it says in the Second Amendment that the right of the people shall keep and bear arms. But what are the people? It's the militia. I go, you got that from some numbnut on fucking YouTube who went around saying that shit, and that guy can't fucking read either. Said you guys are fucking idiots for even listening to this dumb shit. Right? What's that guy's name? Cenk or whatever his name is. Second Amendment. This guy went around saying that stuff, and everyone's just like spitting out canned versions of this guy's stupid fucking shit. Right? A well-regulated militia, right? Comma. Does anyone know what a comma is? Being necessary to the security of a free state, comma, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Okay. It's pretty straightforward. I mean, maybe they should have wrote this for like 5-year-olds. Guys, you get to have all the fucking guns you want because we need to keep freedom. As it tells you, the security of a free state. So what's the purpose of it? I mean, it's not hard to read.
Free state of mind is mine.
You know, where was it? What was it? Which one was it? It's the. Hold on. I'm gonna show you guys. This is good. See, now you got me on the gun stuff. I go. Can I join your live? No, because I'm on YouTube. It'd be kind of weird if I start putting people live on TikTok while we're running a YouTube live. It'd be weird. That's why I won't do it. No offense. Let me see. Let's see. We got. If it was just TikTok, it'd be different. I wouldn't care. A little run on my experience doing trusts. So from doing trusts, I've gotten a ton of traffic tickets dropped because I would just show that the car was in a trust. I'm not the party, right, to bring the charges to, and so they would drop the charges. All kinds of stuff. All right. Oh, car's not registered. Car's not insured. Car's not this. Car did this. This thing's out with the car. That I'm like, well, I don't know. It's not my car. Like, what? Maybe it's not your car. Oh, look right here. See, it's not my car. It doesn't belong to me. It belongs to a trust. Oh, we'll just drop these then. We don't have to worry about those. Oh, thank you.
Hey Joe, quick question, real fast. I
Yeah.
was talking to somebody yesterday about creating a bond so that we can insure ourselves.
Okay.
They told me that it was called an annuity bond and that we had to pay it back somehow if we made a claim.
Oh, you're talking your insurance company.
So that what they told me is wrong.
No, that is what. So the way I have the bond set up, you have to pay for the accident. It's just something to show financial responsibility. But if you crash into somebody's car, you have to pay for the damages, right? I mean, we can finagle the financial system a little bit to get it so that way it doesn't come out of pocket; it comes out of the bond instead. So there's ways to do that too. But
Thank you, Joe.
yeah. But yeah, the insurance companies are going to want you to pay that back. Yeah, because they're in it to make money, right? Um, I tried to explain to my neighbor you don't need an FFL once you get into the correct status. Yeah, don't need permits, don't need anything. None of that stuff applies when you correct your status. Licenses, permits, none of that shit is needed unless you're going to be using. Well, for guns, you don't need them at all. Period. Done. But for like cars and stuff like that, you're going to need a driver's license if you're going to be operating in a commercial capacity, even if you corrected your status. Okay. So, posse comitatus, the power or force of the county. The entire population of a county above the age of 15, which a sheriff may summon to his assistance in certain cases, as to aid him in keeping the peace, in pursuing and arresting felons, etc. Passe comitas, okay? Passe comitas, right? So, let me see. Where was this? Let me find this thing. It's in the Federalist Papers. It was in the Federalist Papers somewhere. I'll find it. Oh, there it is. Look, I found it. See, but this is the problem. See all those anti-gun activists? They don't read any of this shit. They just go, killing is wrong. I go, I agree with you on that, but I disagree with you on how to go about doing that. Why don't we just make people more ethical? Why can't we make the focus like making people more honest and ethical and having control over their emotions? Why can't we do that? That sounds better to me, right? Power has, yeah. Right. So this is the Federalist Papers number 29 concerning the militia. Hey, so what are we talking about? To the people of the state of New York, the power of regulating the militia and commanding its services in times of insurrection and invasion are natural incidents to the duties of superintending the common defense and of watching over the internal peace of the Confederacy. Okay. This was written by Alexander Hamilton. Okay. It requires no skill in the science of war to discern that uniformity in the organization and discipline of the militia would be attended with the most beneficial effects whenever they were called into service for the public defense. It would enable them to discharge the duties of the camp and of the field with mutual intelligence and concern and advantage of peculiar moment in the operations of an army, and would have fit them much sooner to acquire the degree of proficiency in the military functions which would be essential to their usefulness. This desirable uniformity can only be accomplished by confiding the regulation of the militia to the direction of the national authority. It is therefore with the most evident propriety that the plan of the convention proposes to empower the Union to provide for organizing, arming, and disciplining the militia, for governing such part of them as may be employed in the service of the United States, reserving to the states respectively the appointment of the officers and authorizing the training of militia according to the discipline prescribed by Congress. So he's talking about the militias are going to be on a statewide level. It's the state that's going to be doing all this stuff on behalf of the United States, right? Because the United States has to command a military force throughout all the states, right? Since it's the thing that's linking the states together to keep them whole, right? Isn't the militia supposed to be controlled by the people and not the state? The people are the state, okay? The people are the state. Read the state constitution. It tells you they're the state. Anyway, I brought that up because he talks about, where is it? It's in here somewhere. Is it? Maybe it's not in this one. Yeah, here it is. Passe comitas, right? It's saying, right? He's saying that we're going to have to use these people. Who's that? That's any boy over the age of 15 years old. So they were talking about everyone in general. Every man over the age of 15 is part of this thing. Okay, that's the militia. Okay, and that means everyone needs to be armed. It's really simple. And the whole idea is that if everyone is armed and trained on how to use their arms, it's going to be quite clear. Anyway, that, we do have this right, and the militia are the people. That's the people, that's the militia. So even if you get one of these like nut jobs that goes, well, only the militia is supposed to have the guns. All right, well, who's the militia? Well, I don't know. Yeah, they don't know because they don't know how to read. These people only know how to listen and repeat what they heard. They don't even evaluate. There's no evaluation going on up there. A lot of heartstrings being tugged, though. That's what's controlling them. They're puppets by their hearts. Okay, I think that's it for me today. Any quick questions, comments, statements before I go? No soup for you. Thanks, guys. All right, I'm going to head out. You guys.
Just want to remind everyone that this TikTok is available on your YouTube live channel, because as soon as you stop the live, it goes to the recorded place on your YouTube channel.
Exactly. I know people always ask, is this being recorded? All these lives that I do with the YouTube are always going to be recorded on here. TikTok automatically records the lives, and that's that. So it's always recorded, but the ones where I'm live streaming on YouTube, they're available on YouTube the second I end the stream. So thanks guys for hanging out. Give a 30-second cap on trusts. Oh, okay. So if you're operating without a trust, you're operating naked in the commercial realm. Okay, having a trust and operating through trust and learning how to utilize trust to protect you is of the utmost importance. It's what those people are doing out there. The banks are all doing that stuff. Those corporations are doing that stuff. The rich moguls out there are doing that stuff. Okay, all of those people are utilizing trusts to protect their assets. Okay, this is why when these people, high authority, or these people, the rich people, whatever, when they get caught and go to jail for something, when they get out, why are they still wealthy? Why do they have all this stuff? Because it was never theirs. It was never in their name. They always used a trust. And because they were using a trust, when they get out of jail, all that stuff is still there waiting for them. Because the trust never fails for the lack of a trustee. They come back, sit right back in their chair. Okay, let's continue where did we leave off? Schemers. All right. Okay, I have a trust group where what we do is teach, actually we do every Mondays. We have then we have two other meetings on a Tuesday night and the first Tuesday night of the month, and the last Thursday of the month we have another meeting, and we meet up and go over very significant trust information. All right. So how many trusts have I done? I could not tell you that. It's over 100. I don't know. I have no idea. But yeah, so you guys can. Okay, great question. To join the trust community, when I end this, go to my profile. I have a Linktree link in my profile. You can click on that, and then from there you can find the link for the trust community and join the trust. I think it's the first link. All right, and then we'll welcome you there with open arms. All right, because we are a family. And Robert left, so bye, Robert. Good to see you. You guys have a great weekend. I'm gonna be out too. All right. So thanks for hanging out.